A teenage girl steps into the cold desert morning. No shoes, no phone, no goodbye, and then she is gone. 16-year-old Karlie Lain Gusé vanished at sunrise in Mono County, California. One moment, she was inside her family's home. The next, she had disappeared into thin air. No footprints, no trace, just silence. How does a child walk into the high desert, under the glow of dawn, and never come back? How can a person disappear without leaving a single mark on the earth? The desert holds its secrets well. Endless sagebrush, empty roads, mountains rising in the distance. It's a place where sound dies quickly, and even a scream can vanish into the wind. But that morning, October 13th, 2018, there was no scream, no struggle, no warning, only a girl who slipped into the open air and never returned. Her family says she was restless that night. She was scared, paranoid. Her stepmother even recorded her voice hours before she vanished. A recording so unusual, so haunting, that it later shocked the nation. Why would a mother record her daughter in fear, and why release it only after she was gone? At sunrise, Karlie was gone from her bed. Neighbors would later tell police they saw a girl walking toward Highway 6. She looked disoriented. She looked lost. One said she was even holding a piece of paper, staring up at the sky. Was that Karlie, or was it someone else entirely? How can your child be safe inside your home one night and gone the next morning without a sound? The desert gives nothing back. Searchers came with helicopters, with dogs, with men and women combing every inch of sand and brush, but they found nothing. Not a shoe, not a shred. Girl disappeared before the world woke up. Karlie was only 16. A life full of promise, cut short or stolen in a way no one can explain. Some believe she ran into the desert and never found her way back. Others whisper darker theories. Did someone take her? Did something happen inside the home that night? Or was the truth far stranger than anyone can imagine? This is not just a story about a missing girl. It's about contradictions. It's about shifting statements. It's about silence where answers should be. And as the years pass, one truth remains. Karlie's name lingers like an echo in the high desert, an echo with no reply. So tonight we ask, how does a girl vanish on a quiet Saturday morning? Why has no evidence ever been? Before the desert swallowed the truth, there was just Karlie. Karlie Lain Gusé was 16, a teenager on the edge of adulthood. She lived in Chalfont Valley, a small community in Mono County, California. It was quiet, remote, the kind of place where neighbors wave when you pass, the kind of place where danger feels far away. But even the safest places hold shadows. Karlie was described as smart, funny, bright-eyed. She had dreams like any 16-year-old girl. She loved music. She had friends. She was finding her way in the world. Her parents were divorced. Her mother lived in Nevada. Karlie stayed most often with her father and stepmother, Melissa. It was an ordinary split family arrangement. Birthdays shared, phone calls exchanged. A teenage girl trying to balance two worlds. On Friday, October 12, 2018, Karlie spent the evening like many teens, with friends, laughing, hanging out, trying to push the boundaries of freedom. But that night something shifted. She smoked marijuana, a choice many teens make. But for Karlie, the reaction was different. Her friends later said she panicked. She grew paranoid, scared, as if what she smoked was not what she thought it was. Melissa brought her home that night. What happened inside the house in those next hours would become the heart of the mystery. Melissa said Karlie was anxious, frightened, talking about death, asking if she would be okay. So unusual, so unnerving, that Melissa did something few parents would ever think to do. She recorded her stepdaughter's fear, not on video, just her voice, crying, pleading, confused. That recording would later become one of the most disturbing pieces of this entire case. Why record a terrified child? Why hold on to that recording until she was gone? And why does it still leave more questions than answers? By morning, Karlie seemed to have calmed. She stayed in her room. She went to bed. But at sunrise, her room was empty, her shoes still inside, her phone left behind, her purse untouched. She was gone. Her father and stepmother searched the house, the yard, the street, nothing. And then the desperate call every parent prays they will never make. 911, what's your emergency? My daughter, she's gone. From that moment, Karlie's name would never leave the headlines. Her photo would be shared across news broadcasts, across social media, across the nation. But that Saturday morning, before the world knew her name, her family knew only terror. Because when a child vanishes without reason, every second feels like a lifetime. Was Karlie taken in the brief moments she stepped outside? Did she walk into the desert on her own? Or did something happen inside that home before anyone realized? 3 questions, 3 possible answers, and no way to know which one holds the truth. This was the last day anyone saw Karlie Lain Gusé alive, and it began not with a scream, but with silence. Friday night, October 12, 2018. Karlie spent the evening with friends. They hung out, they laughed, they smoked marijuana, but what happened next was not normal. Her friends later told investigators that Karlie's reaction was extreme. She became restless, paranoid. She told them she felt unsafe, as if death was closing in. Melissa, her stepmother, picked her up. She drove Karlie home. She later described her stepdaughter as frightened, looking over her shoulder, panicking at small things. Melissa said she tried to comfort her, but Karlie was not calming down. Inside the house that night, the fear only grew stronger. Melissa said Karlie paced the room. She asked questions no 16-year-old should have to ask. Am I going to be okay? Am I going to die? It was disturbing, so disturbing that Melissa pulled out her phone. She pressed record. She captured Karlie's voice as she spiraled through fear, a decision that to this day sparks controversy. Why record her? Why not call a doctor? Why not call for help? That recording would later be played on national television. The sound of a teenager, confused, panicked, pleading. The last proof of Karlie's voice. Melissa said she stayed near Karlie through the night, sometimes lying beside her, sometimes checking to make sure she was still there. At one point she said Karlie finally drifted to sleep, but the morning of October 13th changed everything. When Melissa looked in Karlie's room at sunrise, she was gone. The bed was empty. Her shoes were still inside the house. Her cell phone sat on the dresser. Her purse was untouched. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. At 6:15 a.m., Melissa said she noticed Karlie missing. By 6:30, panic had set in. Her father searched the house, the yard, the street outside. There was no sign of her. And then the desperate call. 911, what's your emergency? My daughter, she's missing. She's only 16. Please help us. As officers arrived, the first wave of confusion began. What was Karlie wearing when she left? Melissa first described it as dark pants and a t-shirt. Later, it was a white t-shirt and gray sweatpants. The description kept changing. For investigators, those details mattered. Clothing descriptions shape search efforts. They shape eyewitness reports. They shape the first hours of a missing person's case. And those hours are everything. Still, witnesses began to come forward. Several neighbors told investigators they saw a girl that morning, thin, long hair, walking near Highway 6, not far from the family's home. One neighbor said she was carrying a piece of paper, looking up at the sky. Another claimed they saw her near the sagebrush, wandering alone. To them it looked like Karlie, but was it, or was it someone else? It can also play tricks on the eyes. What we know for sure, by 7 a.m. Karlie was gone. No phone, no shoes, no goodbye. A teenage girl simply vanished into the morning air. From this moment, the clock was ticking. Every second that passed without finding her made the mystery deeper. Was she out there wandering the desert, disoriented? Had someone already taken her? Or did the truth lie somewhere even closer to home? What happened in those final hours remains the darkest part of the story. A girl in distress, a recording no parent should ever have, a sunrise walk that left nothing behind. And as investigators would soon discover, the timeline of Karlie's last night raised more questions than it answered. The call went out. A 16-year-old girl was missing in Mono County. Her name Karlie Lain Gusé. Within hours, deputies from the Mono County Sheriff's Office were on the ground. Helicopters circled overhead. Search dogs sniffed through sagebrush and dirt roads. Dozens of volunteers combed the high desert, grid by grid. It was a massive effort, but from the beginning, something didn't add up. Search dogs found no trail, no scent leading away from the house, no prints in the sand. It was as if Karlie had walked into thin air. The first official theory was simple. Maybe she wandered into the desert. She was disoriented. Maybe she collapsed somewhere beyond the search line. But days passed, and nothing turned up. The helicopters saw nothing. The dogs smelled nothing. The people searching found nothing. How could a girl vanish so completely in such a small town? Detectives tried to piece together a timeline. They asked Melissa for details. When did Karlie fall asleep? When did she wake up? What was she wearing? But the answers shifted. First dark pants, then gray sweatpants. First 5:30 in the morning, then 6:15. The changes fueled doubt, and in a case like this, doubt spreads fast. Police questioned neighbors. 3 reported seeing a girl that morning, walking near Highway 6. They described her as thin, pale, long brown hair. To them it looked like Karlie, but none of them spoke to the girl. None of them could be absolutely sure, and after that she was gone. Detectives also listened to the recording, the one Melissa had made the night before. It was unsettling. A teenager's voice, terrified, crying,
pleading, asking questions no child should ask. It confirmed Karlie was afraid, but it gave no answers about what happened next. Why record her? Why not seek medical help? Why not call 911 that night? The investigators asked. The public would later ask louder. Still, the search pressed on. FBI agents joined the case. Specialized units scoured the area. Roadblocks were set up. Cars were checked. Drivers were questioned. Days turned into weeks, and nothing surfaced. No clothing, no belongings, not a single sign of Karlie. We've checked every lead, every road, every canyon. Nothing. Please, she's my daughter. Find her. For investigators, the silence of the desert was louder than any clue. Every search ended the same way, empty-handed. Theories shifted. Maybe she ran away. Maybe she was abducted. Maybe something happened inside the home that no one wanted to admit. But with no body, no crime scene, no evidence, detectives were trapped in a mystery that felt more like quicksand. Each day that passed made recovery less likely. Each day left the family in deeper torment. And one fact grew harder to ignore. In missing persons cases, the first 48 hours are critical. But by the time those hours passed, the investigation was already tangled with contradictions, confusion, and controversy. So the question haunted everyone. Was Karlie truly out there, lost in the desert? Or was the answer hiding much closer to home? In the first days after Karlie vanished, the desert community of Chalfont Valley changed. A place once known for quiet mornings and open skies was now filled with whispers. Every parent looked at their child differently. Every locked door was double-checked at night. People asked each other, how can a 16-year-old disappear right here, in our own town? If it could happen to Karlie, could it happen to anyone? The fear spread fast. Neighbors formed search groups. They walked roadsides. They checked ditches. They searched abandoned sheds and empty lots. But the result was always the same: nothing. Local news stations picked up the story. Karlie's face appeared on screens across California. Her bright smile, her brown hair, her youthful eyes, and underneath 3 words that chilled the nation: still missing teen. Soon the case hit national television. Dr. Phil devoted an episode to Karlie. Her parents sat under the studio lights. Their grief laid bare before millions. Melissa spoke about the recording. The audience heard Karlie's fear, her voice trembling, her words desperate. The reaction was instant. Gasps, shock, controversy. Why record a terrified teenager? Why not call for help? The questions echoed louder than the answers. Online, the case took on a life of its own. True crime forums buzzed with theories. Social media spread rumors like wildfire. Some said Karlie had been trafficked. Others believed she had overdosed and her body hidden. Some accused the family. Others swore it was a stranger. The internet turned Karlie into a symbol, not just of a missing teen, but of how a case can fracture under the weight of public opinion. And with every rumor, the truth became harder to see. At vigils, candles lit the night. Posters carried Karlie's photo. Her mother's voice cracked as she begged the world not to forget her child. Her father and stepmother made public appeals too, but their words, instead of uniting the community, often divided it. Their versions of events sometimes clashed. The public began to choose sides: the mother's side, the father's side. The truth became a battlefield. Reporters followed every twist. Missing teens still not found. Family recording sparks questions. Search yields no trace. And behind every headline, a reminder that Karlie was still gone. The community lived in fear. The media thrived on the mystery, and the silence of the desert remained. So people asked, was the truth out there in the sagebrush and sand? Or was it buried under the weight of rumors, speculation, and secrets? As cameras rolled and candles burned, one haunting fact remained. The world could see Karlie's face everywhere, but no one could find her. When evidence is scarce, theories multiply. Karlie's case became a puzzle with missing pieces, and everyone, detectives, neighbors, strangers online, tried to solve it. 3 main theories emerged, each one possible, each one terrifying. Theory 1. Karlie walked into the desert and never came back. She was frightened that night, anxious, her mind clouded by what she had smoked. Was it possible she wandered off, confused as the sun rose? The desert is harsh. Temperatures drop low at night and rise quickly in the day. If Karlie lost her way, she could have collapsed before anyone reached her. Searchers combed the desert, mile after mile. Helicopters scanned every canyon. Dogs followed trails that led nowhere. But not a shoe, not a scrap of clothing, not a body. If she died in the desert, where is she? How can nothing be found in all these years? Theory 2. Karlie was abducted. She was last seen walking near Highway 6, a lonely road cutting through endless desert. An easy target for anyone passing by. A stranger, a predator, a car slowing down, a door opening, and in seconds she's gone. The FBI considered this possibility, but there were no cameras, no tire tracks, no witnesses who saw a vehicle stop. Could an abductor have taken her without leaving a trace? If so, why has no evidence surfaced? Why no sightings? Why no answers? Theory 3. The truth lies closer to home. The recording, the shifting clothing descriptions, the timeline that doesn't always match. Critics point to those details as signs that something inside the house doesn't add up. Some believe Karlie overdosed. That panic turned fatal, and that fear of consequences led to a cover-up. But detectives have never charged anyone. There is no body. There is no proof, only suspicion. Could her disappearance have been staged? Could the desert silence be hiding a family secret? Each theory leaves more questions than answers. If Karlie died in the desert, why no remains? If she was abducted, why no trace? If foul play occurred at home, why no evidence? Detectives remain trapped between possibilities. And every theory, no matter how logical or bizarre, ends with the same haunting fact: Karlie is still gone. So which is it? The desert, a stranger, or something even closer? The truth must be one of them. But which one? For Karlie's family, the days after her disappearance became a lifetime. Every morning began the same way, looking out into the desert, wondering if she was still out there. Her mother, who lived in Nevada, drove for hours to Mono County. She walked the roadsides herself. She spoke to reporters, begging for answers. Her voice broke with each word. Please don't forget my daughter. Don't let her be another missing face. Her father searched too. He followed every lead. He stood in front of cameras, pleading with the community. But sometimes his words clashed with Karlie's mother's. Two grieving parents, separated not only by distance, but by different versions of events. The tension spilled into the public. Some sided with the mother, others defended the father. And while they fought for her memory, Karlie remained missing. At vigils, candles lit the night sky. Her name echoed through prayers. Neighbors held posters with her smiling face. Friends wrote messages. Come home, Karlie. We love you. The family never stopped speaking out. They gave interviews. They appeared on national shows. They pushed for awareness. They kept her photo alive, even as time moved forward. But with each year, the questions grew heavier. Where is Karlie? What happened that morning? Why has no one been able to find her? And yet, through all the heartbreak, her story became a warning, a lesson, a plea to every parent and every teenager listening now. If you've stayed with me through Karlie's story, you know how fast safety can disappear. One wrong choice, one dangerous encounter, and the child is gone. That's why I created my ebook, Predator Next Door: How Teens Are Lured, Taken, and What to Do to Stay Safe. Inside, I share real strategies every parent should know: how predators operate, the tricks they use, and how to spot danger before it's too late. This is not just information, it's protection, it's power, it's a guide that could save your child's life. Click the link in the description to grab your copy today, because silence and unpreparedness can be deadly. For Karlie's family, speaking out became their only weapon. They refused to let her name fade. Every interview, every flyer, every vigil, a promise that she would not be forgotten. Her mother still waits for answers, her father still begs for clues, and her stepmother defends her own story, even under public scrutiny. This is the fight no parent ever wants, the fight to keep your missing child alive in people's hearts, even when evidence is gone. And yet, through the tears and divisions, one truth remains: the family's love for Karlie has never wavered. But love alone cannot bring her home. So what do we have left? Rumors, confusion, and haunting questions that no one can answer. Questions that refuse to fade, even as the years slip by. Years have passed, searches have ended, but the questions remain. Why did Karlie's clothing description change? Dark pants, then gray sweatpants. Which was it? Why can't we know for certain what she was wearing when she disappeared? Why was there no trace in the desert? No footprints, no scraps of clothing, not even a single clue after helicopters, dogs, and dozens of searchers combed the valley. If she walked out there, where are the signs? Why record her the night before? Why capture her fear on a phone, instead of calling for medical help? What does that recording truly reveal? And why was it shown to the world, when it never answered what happened next? Why do eyewitness accounts conflict? One said she walked along Highway 6, staring at the sky. Another said she was in the sagebrush. Some swore it was Karlie. But what if it wasn't? What if the girl they saw was someone else entirely? Why no evidence of abduction? No car sighted, no tire tracks, no one reporting a suspicious vehicle that morning. Could someone have taken her without a trace? Or does the silence point in another direction? And why have the family's statements never aligned? A mother convinced her daughter is gone. A stepmother defending her version of the night. A father caught between love and suspicion. Their voices overlap, but never unite, and the cracks in their accounts only deepen the mystery. These are the questions that torment investigators. These are the questions that keep parents awake at night, and these are the questions that no one after all these years can answer. Was Karlie truly seen on that road at sunrise? Did the desert swallow her alive? Did a stranger find her at her weakest moment? Or is the truth hidden in plain sight, closer than anyone dares to believe? We may never know, but until those questions are answered, Karlie's case will remain more than a mystery. It will remain a wound that refuses to heal. Because unanswered questions are louder than silence, and silence is all this family has left. She was only 16, a teenager with her whole life ahead of her. Dreams of tomorrow, moments still unwritten. On October 13, 2018, Karlie Lain Gusé stepped into the dawn and vanished. No trace, no goodbye, only silence. Her family still waits, her mother still pleads, her father still searches, her community still whispers her name, but the answers never come. How does a girl disappear from her own home? How does she walk into the desert and leave nothing behind? And why, after all this time, do we still have more questions than truth? Karlie's story is not just about one missing child. It is about the fragility of safety, the cracks in the places we call home, the reminder that danger can find anyone anywhere at any time. Candles have been lit, prayers have been spoken, theories have been debated, but Karlie is still not home. So tonight, remember her name, remember her face, and remember that silence too is evidence. Evidence of a case that has yet to be solved. If you know anything about what happened to Karlie Lain Gusé, call the Mono County Sheriff's Office. Call the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And if you're listening to this now, help us keep her story alive. Subscribe, comment your name and where you're watching from, and share Karlie's story, because silence can be deadly. Tonight, in the vast silence of the high desert, one truth remains. Karlie is still missing, and the desert still holds its secret.